Hello everybody and welcome to the very first Hitfilm tutorial that I'm going to be doing on this channel. I'm going to be doing Blender tutorials as well. Next week I'm going to drop a Blender tutorial. So stay tuned for that. If you like this one, give it a thumbs up and all that. So let's get into it. I'm going to be doing the Shazam effect that you saw at the beginning of this video. I got it straight from the Comic-Con trailer that dropped a few days ago. Actually, it was probably more than a few days ago. I don't know. I'm bad with time. Anyways, let me show you how you do it. First, you're going to need to make your clips just like this, making sure that whatever you're transforming, Shazamming, whatever you want to call it, stays in the exact same place as the other one. Just like that. Alright, first thing we're going to do, we're going to grab a new plane. We're going to make it black plane. Then we're going to name it lightning, and then we're going to drop the lightning effect onto it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to thicken this up a little bit. We're going to keyframe the endpoint as well. Maybe not the starting thing. I don't know. Yeah, maybe not the start width. So now we're going to go and we're going to blend this to add or screen, depending on whatever you like. I'm going to change it to add. And I'm going to keyframe the endpoint in 3 frames and then out 3 frames. I chose to leave 2 frames of empty, so I'm going back 8 frames, if you understand what I mean. So it's going to go in 3 frames, and then it's going to go out in 3 frames. And so this is what we have. Boom. And then we got Spider-Man. We got to go from bad to good, right? The prequels to Spider-Man 2. Okay, next we're going to add in another plane, make it a black plane. We're going to name it Light Flare. Now we're going to drop the Light Flare effect, if I can spell properly. We're going to drop the Light Flare effect right onto it. I'm going to change it to digital blocks. Sorry, you can't see menus. That's due to OBS being weird. And I'm going to rotate it to where the ray is kind of sideways. What we're going to do, we're going to end up keyframe the intensity and the scale. I think keyframing them both will give us more control over what we're doing, though you could just go with one or the other. It doesn't matter, it's just to your liking. So first we're going to blend it to add or screen, whatever, and then we're going to keyframe the center. Now the flare in the trailer follows the end of the lightning, so that's what I want this one to do. So we're going to go to where the lightning has hit, and we're going to keyframe it out. Just every 3 frames. I grabbed the wrong one. And then bring it back out. Except I'm going to keep it in so it has kind of like 4 frames, like it's a build up. So now we got that. Just like that. So now we're going to keyframe the intensity and scale. Now whenever it hits, this is when it's going to really get big. The idea is to blow out the entire screen, and I think I'm actually going to move it to the center a bit, just like that. The idea is to blow out the entire screen. So that's exactly what I did, and then once we're in quite a few frames, we're just going to drop all that down. So now we have this. Boom. I know you can't really see the lightning, but if I had gone for a farther back shot, you would have been able to see it fine. Now we're going to go with a new type of flare. I say that, but it's not really a flare at all. Really, we're just going to grab a white plane, and I'm going to name it Plane Flare, or Flare Plane, whichever one. Plane Flare it is. And now we're going to grab the freehand mask tool and draw a bowl. I wanted this because in the trailer there's quite a bit of diffuseness in the flare. Okay, now we're going to feather this thing way on out. Just a crap ton. In the shape menu. I always get those mixed up. But yeah, we're going to feather a crap ton. Now we're going to keyframe the expansion and not the opacity. I'm going to keyframe the expansion just because I think it gives it a better look than it just fading out of existence. So we're going to keyframe the position as well. I'm going to go in where the flare is, where it's getting really big, and then we're going to crank that expansion up just like that. We're going to go back a few frames, I don't really know why it's moving. I probably hit the position button a little too early, but I'm gonna, figure it out. Go back 3 frames, move it up, and then drop the expansion. And then, so this is what it looks like. Just like that. And I'm gonna move it up a little bit more. Now I'm gonna watch it back. So that's what we got. Now we gotta keyframe it out. I'm gonna turn off the flare so I can see when this one ends. Right there is where it ends. So I'm gonna drop the expansion all the way down. So now this is what we got. Boom. So now I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna look at it a little bit, make sure there's nothing really we can do. But now I'm gonna grab a color cycle effect. I don't know why that was on. I probably switched it without paying attention. You can grab the color cycle and see it drops in a blue tinge already. I'm going to close down all these menus. Open up this color cycle. I got to find the right menu. Number of colors, just drop it to 1. And then we're going to just test and see if that did anything. And then we're going to blend it a little bit with the original. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab the curves effect. Come on, spell it right. Not cycles, curves. C-U-R-V-E-S. There we go. And we're going to go to the blue channel and just bump it on up. It gives us a lot better blue tinge to it. But there's also a little problem with that. Whenever you go back, everything's just blue. So we're going to have to keyframe the opacity of the plane layer. And this part right here, sorry if you can't hear that, there's dogs barking in the background, but we're going to drop the opacity down and we're going to go a little bit in and we're going to crank it on up to 100 or about a quarter, and then we're going to crank it on up over there. I'm going to go to where it has nothing there, and then we're going to bring that back out. Now we got this. Just like that. That looks great to me. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add smoke. So I got these 2 different smoke assets. Links in the description where I got them from. Don't worry, they're free, and they're really good. It comes with a bunch of them. I chose these 2 specifically. They're really nice. I like them. So we're going to bring them on wherever the lightning ends. About over here. Because these things have kind of they pop out. They like are fired out or something like that. See right there? Well, now I'm going to blend it to add. And I'm going to bring it to where the smoke is already kind of there. And I'm going to bring this down and see what that looks like real quick. That looks good to me. I'm going to move the plane and then I'm going to scale it up some. Don't scale it up too much or you're going to it's going to have some pixelation to it and it's not going to look very good. I'm going to duplicate this one and then I'm just going to move it over some, maybe drop it a bit. And then I'm going to grab the other smoke asset I used, bring it in maybe about right there. That seems like it'd work. I changed it to add, and looks like right about there is where I need it. I'm going to rotate it in just a second. Okay, yeah, rotate it. I'm going to place it there, and then I'm going to scale it up again. That looks good to me. And now, let's play it back. Yeah. That looks really nice to me. And now we're going to add the logo. This little lightning bolt. From careful examination, I know exactly what it looks like. But first thing you want to do, you want to grab an orange color, don't be afraid of how dark it looks. The glow will make it look a lot better. And if the darker, the more, just, it's hard to explain. You'll see when we get in there. So I'm gonna try to draw out the lightning bolt. Now his lightning bolt's kind of unproportionate, but it looks really cool at the same time. Like, the spikes don't line up is what I'm trying to say. And I'm gonna fix this really quickly. Just like that. That looks nice. Alright, and I'm gonna grab the glow effect. Remember, we're not gonna feather this. And when we drop the glow, see, it already looks a lot better. It's already a lot brighter. So there is no need to make it like a really high yellow color. Maybe I'm gonna bump, no, it's fine where it is. 0.8 intensity is good for me. Then I'm gonna duplicate this layer though. It's gonna add more glow to it whenever we do. But before I do that, I'm going to track it because I know my footage kind of shakes. I'm not gonna track Spidey or MJ. Just gonna go straight to the number 2. And bring that in. Let's see if it tracks. I got to the end of the track and I didn't realize it. Anyways, it looks like it's going to track, so I'm just going to hit the play button. Looks like the track's going really nicely. And I forgot to make that daggum point layer. I always end up making the point layer after I do the track. Remember to make that point layer before you do the track so you don't have to go. It's just a lot longer. I'm just going to name it 2 track or something like that. 2 track, yep. I'm going to turn back on the logo. Go to my controls. Double click on the tracker to bring it back open. And then we're going to do that. Apply to there. Oops. I'm going to have to grab the slider then. Once you apply it, you can see it. At the time, I did not realize that I was on the mask tool and was trying to figure out why I can't see the point. Then I realized it, that I was on the mask tool. Yeah, it tracked. It's like, oh, there it is. Anyways, there, it tracks it really well. I'm going to turn on the logo and I'm going to parent that to the track so that kind of stays in position. Yeah. I'm going to reposition this and I'm going to kind of scale it in and maybe stretch it a bit. Looks nice to me. I'm going to try to position it roughly in the center. Now I'm going to duplicate this lane. On the bottom lane, we're not going to grab an effect. We're going to go to the mask and we're going to bump that feather strength really high up. Not too high though. It's going to give us that really nice glow around the Shazam logo, lightning bolt, whatever you want to call it. Now we're going to drop this below the smokes, so it's behind the smoke. And there we go. Nearly done. We're just going to have to keyframe the opacity of the logo. So we're going to go over here to the opacity. I'm going to drop this one to 0. Go in, and let's crank it up to 1. Or to 100, my bad. We're going to do the same with the other plane. I didn't realize that I kind of messed it up. And then I realized I messed it up there. I'm going to the part where you can't see it and dropping it down to 0. And there, that looks nice. Now, one thing left to do, and let's pre-render and see how we did. Alright, 3, 2, 1, there we go. Now let's see how we did. If you did it, it should look like the Shazam effect. Boom, just like that. That looks really nice. I like that. That's the effect, guys. I'm gonna save it. And if you liked it, give me a like. Just do it. And every other week I'm going to be doing more tutorials. I'm going to be doing a lot more. I'm going to be a lot more active on my YouTube than I previously have been. And like my intro suggests, I'm going to be doing Blender tutorials as well. A few times I'm going to be mixing Blender and Hitfilm Express. I might do Pro when I can. I'm going to be really narrowing it down to Express. I'm going to show you next week how you can make your own assets for certain films or whatever you want to do in Blender and then use them in Hitfilm so you can composite with them, because I don't like Blender's compositing. There's too much to it. It's not as concise and accurate and good as Hitfilm's is. Also, if you haven't noticed, this tutorial's a little similar to Film Learning's or whoever's it is Thor effect, where you change clothes. I think it really is Film Learning. It's the Thor effect in Thor Ragnarok, I believe, where he grabs his hammer, like slams it on the ground or something, and he gets struck by lightning, and then he's in his Thor outfit. This is basically the same idea. That's not exactly where this idea spawned from. I got really enticed by the trailer for Shazam that came out a while back. Alright, that is the effect, guys. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, whatever. The stuff isn't going to be too consistent. My videos are not going to be too consistent right now, especially with school starting back and all that. But I hope to be able to make great content and everything, so thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye. Bye.